Alright, hi guys, and welcome to a new episode of Creepypasta Stories and Info. I'm sorry about the, well, let's face it, the crappy, Okay, for a start, I'm sorry if the audio or video is a bit shitty today. My webcam program decided to delete itself for no apparent reason. Now, second of all, yeah, I can't use the webcam, so I'll be using Camtasia for a little while, so you'll probably see a bit of Google Chrome and just my desktop. So yeah, see, cursor, blah 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 blah. So, let's get into it now. Oh, look at that, that's festive. Alright. Now, if you hadn't noticed by the title, it's Smile Dog today, so yeah, let's get started. Smile Dog's story consists of a classic horror setup. An amateur writer visits the house of a lady who supposedly has a story for which he can borrow from, rather than speak. However, the lady has locked herself up in her room, crying and ranting about nightmares and visions and various other problems. All of these centre around a floppy disk she had been given that contained the image Smile.jpg, which is Smile Dog. Other cases of this have cropped up. Viewing this image incites insanity, and no copy of the exact image exists on the web, the likenesses of it do. The true image of Smile.jpg is recognised due to the effect of the viewer. That is, they wind up dead. Attaching the file, that is, spreading the word, is the only way to save oneself from the Smile Dog that appears in one's dream demanding to spread the word. Some say that the original legend began with an image of the devil. I first met the person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with her husband of 15 years, Terence, to see her for an interview. Mary had initially agreed, since I was not a newsman, but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assignments and, if it all went according to plan, some pieces of fiction. We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrelated business, but at the last moment Mary changed her mind and locked herself in the couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me. For half an hour, I sat with Terence as we camped outside the bedroom door. I listening and taking note while he attempted fruitlessly to calm his wife. The things Mary said made little sense, but fit with the pattern I was expecting. Though I could not see her, I could tell from her voice that she was crying. And more often than not, her objections to speaking with me centered around an incoherent diatribe on dreams, her nightmares. Terence apologized profusely when we ceased the exercise. I did my best to take it in stride. Recalled that I wasn't a reporter in search of a story, but merely a curious young man in search of information. Besides, I thought at the time I could perhaps find another similar case if I put my mind and resources to it. Mary E. was a size-up for a small Chicago-based bulletin board system in 1992. When she first encountered Smile.jpg and her life changed forever, she and Terence had been married for only 5 months. Mary was one of an estimated 400 people who saw the image and when it was posted as a hyperlink to the BBS. Though she is the only one who has spoken openly about the experience, the rest have remained anonymous, or are perhaps dead. In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.jpg was first brought to my attention by my burgeoning interest in web-based phenomena. Mary was the most often cited victim of what is sometimes referred to as Smile.dog. The being Smile.jpg is reputed to display. What caught my interest, other than the obvious macabre elements of cyber legend, and my proclivity towards such things, was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point that people don't believe it even exists other than as a rumour or hoax. It is unique because, though the entire phenomenon centres on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Certainly many photo manipulators simulacra live in the internet, the web, showing up with the most frequency on sites such as the image board 4chan, particularly on the /x/focused paranormal subboard. It is suspected these are fakes because they do not have the effect that true Smile.jpg is believed to have. Namely sudden onset temporal lobe epilepsy and acute anxiety. This purported reaction in the viewer is one of the reasons the phantom like Smile.jpg is regarded with such disdain, since it is patently absurd. Though depending on whom you ask, the reluctance to acknowledge Smile.jpg's existence might be just as much out of fear as it is out of disbelief. Now, the Smile.jpg non-smile dog is mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia, though the website features articles on such other, perhaps more scandalous shop sites as Hello.jpg or 2girls1cup. Any attempt to create a page pertaining to Smile.jpg is summarily described by any of the Encyclopedia's many admins. Encounters with Smile.jpg are the stuff of internet legend. Mary E's story is not unique. There are unverified rumors of Smile.jpg showing up in the early days of Usenet. And even one persistent tale that in 2002 a hacker flooded the forums of humor and satire website Something Awful with a deluge of Smile.jpg pictures, rendering almost half the forum's users at the time epileptic. It's also said that in the mid to late 90s that Smile.jpg circulated on Usenet as an attachment of a chain email with the subject line "Smile, God loves you." Yet despite the huge exposure these stunts would generate, there are very few people who admit to having experienced any of them, and no traces of file or any link has ever been discovered. Those who claim to have seen Smile.jpg often weakly joke that they were far too busy to save a copy of the picture to their hard drive. However, all alleged victims offer the same description of the photo. A dog-like creature, usually described as appearing similar to a Siberian husky, illuminated by the flash of the camera, sits in a dim room. The only background detail that is visible being a human hand extended from the darkness near the left-hand side of the frame. The hand is empty, but is usually described as beckoning. Of course, most attention is given to the dog, or dog creature, as some victims are more certain than others about what they claim to have seen. The muzzle of the beast is reputedly split into a wide grin, revealing 2 rows of very white, very straight, very sharp, very human-looking teeth. This is, of course, not a description given immediately after viewing the picture, but rather a recollection of the victims, who claim to have seen the picture endlessly repeated in their mind's eye during the time that they are, in reality, having epileptic fits. These fits are reported to continue indeterminably, often while the victims sleep, resulting in very vivid and disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medication, though in some circumstances it is more effective than others. Mary E, I assume, was not one of effective. What the fuck? Mary E, I assume, was not on effective medication. That was why, after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I set out feelers to several folklore and urban legend-oriented news groups like local mailing lists, hoping to find the name of a supposed victim on Smile.jpg who felt more interested in talking about his experience. For a time nothing happened, and at times I forgot completely about my pursuits. Since I had begun my freshman year of college and was quite busy, Mary contacted me by email, however, near the beginning of March 2008. Dear Mr. L, I am incredibly sorry about my behaviour last summer when you came to interview me. I hope you understand that it was not your fault. It was no fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to act out as I did. I realised that I could have handled the situation more dexterously. However, I hope you'll forgive me. At the time, I was afraid. You see, For 15 years I have been haunted by Smile.jpg. Smile.jpg comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that sounds silly, but it is true. There is an ineffable quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that makes them completely unlike any real dreams I have ever had. I do not move and do not speak. I simply look ahead, and the only thing ahead of me is the scene from that horrible picture. I see the beckoning hand, and I see Smile.jpg. It talks to me. It is not a dog, of course, though I'm not quite sure what it really is. It tells me it will leave me alone if only I do as tasks. All I must do, it says, is spread the word. That is how it phrases its demands, and I know exactly what it means. It wants me to show it to someone else. And I could. The week after my incident, I received the mail. In a minute, I received in the mail a manila envelope with no return address. Inside was a 3.5-inch floppy diskette, without having to check on precisely what was on it. I thought for a long time about my options. I could show it to a stranger, a co-worker. I could even show it to Terence. As much as the idea disgusted me, what would happen then? Well, if Smile.jpg kept its word aside, if Smile.jpg kept its word, I could sleep. Yet, if it lied, what would I do? And who's to say something worse would not come for me if I did as the creature asked? So I did nothing for 15 years, though I kept the diskette hidden amongst my things. Every night for 15 years, Smile.jpg has come to me in my sleep and demanded that I spread the word. For 15 years, I have stood strong. Though there have been hard times, many of my fellow victims on the BBS board where I first encountered Smile.jpg stopped posting. I heard some committed suicide, others remained completely silent, just simply disappearing off the face of the web. They are the ones I worry about the most. I sincerely hope you'll forgive me, Mr. L. But last summer, when you contacted me and my husband about an interview, I was near the breaking point. I decided I was going to give you the floppy diskette. I did not care if Smile.jpg was my own. I wanted it to end. You were a stranger, someone I had no connection with, and I thought I would not feel sorry when you took the diskette as part of your research and sealed your fate. Before you arrived, I realized what I was doing. I was plotting to ruin her life. I could not stand the thought, and in fact I still cannot. I am ashamed, Mr. L, and I hope that this warning will dissuade you from further investigation on Smile.jpg. You may, in turn, encounter someone who is, if not weaker than I, then wholly more depraved, someone who will not hesitate to follow Smile.jpg's orders. Stop while you are still whole. Sincerely, Mary Ann. Terence contacted me later that month, with news that his wife had killed herself. While cleaning up the various things she'd left behind, closing emails and the like, he happened upon the above message. He was a man in shambles. He wept as he told me to listen to his wife's advice. He found the diskette, he revealed. He burned it until it was nothing but a sinking pile of blackened plastic. The part that most disturbed him, however, was how the diskette had hissed as it melted, like some sort of animal, he said. I will admit that I was a little uncertain about how to respond to this. At first I thought perhaps it was a joke. The couple belatedly playing with the situation in order to get a rise out of me. A quick check of several Chicago newspapers online obituaries, however, proved that Mary Ann was indeed dead. There was, of course, no mention of suicide in the article. I decided, for a time at least, I would not further pursue the subject of Smile.jpg, especially since I had funerals coming up at the end of May. But the world has odd ways of testing us. Almost a full year after I'd returned from my disastrous interview with Mary, Almost a full year after I'd returned my disastrous interview with Mary, I received another email. Hello. I found your email address through a mailing list. Your profile said you are interested in Smile.jpg. I have saw it. It is not as bad as everyone says. I have sent it to you here, just spreading the word. The final lines chilled me to the bone. According to my email client, there was one file attachment called, naturally, Smile.jpg. I considered downloading it for some time. It was most likely a fake. I imagine I imagine, and even if it weren't, I was never wholly convinced of Smile.jpg's peculiar powers. Mary E's account had shaken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced anyway. After all, how could a simple image do what Smile.jpg was said to accomplish? What sort of creature was it that could break one's mind with only the power of the eye? And if such things were patently absurd, then why did the legend exist at all? If I download the image, if I looked at it, and if Mary turned out to be correct, if Smile Dog came to me in my dreams demanding I speak the word, what would I do? Would I live my life as Mary had, fighting against the urge to give him until I died? Or would I simply spread the word, eager to be put to rest? And if I chose the latter route, how could I do it? And whom would I burden in turn? What was that? Oh yeah, that. So I went through with my earlier intention to write a shorter article about Smile.jpg I decided I could attach it as evidence, and anyone who read the article, anyone who took interest would be affected. And even assuming the Smile.jpg attached to the email was genuine, would I be capricious enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes. Yes, I could. That's all. Well, yeah, so that's the image, I guess. Seems to be letters on the image anyway. Yeah, strange image. Yeah, strangish image. Now there is a bit of extra information that I haven't added into this particular article. Oh, that's fucking horrible. I'll read that at some stage. Anyway, so we can see Smile Dog there. Pretty creepy. Looks like he's there for an ad for Colgate or something. But anyway, so I forgot to add something. Apparently, if you don't post it within is it 4 years or 4 months, it will change into a creepy ass image. I'll see if I can find it here. Smile Dog. Holy crap, there's a Smile Dog game. What the shit? Oh, that's why I searched that. Probably did. Bye bye, Smile Dog. Bye. Bye, you have nice eyes. I like your eyes, those are nice eyes. I like your eyes. Oh yeah, Google. I like your eyes. You have some sexy eyes. This is why my computer is slow. Anyway, hurry up there. It's meant to transform into something like this. Hey, I clicked on that. But yeah. There's a lot of stuff here. It's cool. Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, so you shut your face, Jeff. Don't like you. Alright. I'll spread my dick. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Well, the fuck? Fucking quails. Okay, so I think we've just about covered that completely. So Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Been on the full audience. Fuck you, silly cat. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button in its face or whatever the fuck you do. Also, like and favourite the video if you really want to. Comment if you really want to. Follow me on Twitter if you want to catch up with more bullshit, which you probably don't. That looks legit. That's funny. Anyway. So quiet. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. This is Neverpack. Signing the fuck off.